Hello and welcome to Sincere Tarot. This is your What Do You Need to Know for October 2022. So I've already shuffled the cards with my intention. What you need to do is you need to pick a number, 1, 2, or 3, whatever number sticks out to you the most, and make sure you stick around until the end where we have the collective reading and there are timestamps below. All right, let's get started. What does group 1 need to know for October 2022? Well, I've got lots of cool decks for you. Interesting. Some of you might be a Libra or have some sort of, or might be an air sign. Oh, there's some lazy or apathetic bugger you are dealing with, and it's all because of their issues with their mother. Haha. I'm not laughing at you, it's just I'm laughing at the person. This could also be a situation, but I'm gonna speak as if this is a person. So there's you. Okay, first off, you are coming up in the energy in the past is the Ace of Swords, and that's coming up with new ideas, a new idea. But it can also be a message. So there may have been a message either sent or received by you from this person, and it would be extremely clear with the communication with one main point. Also, it can be just speaking very direct and upfront. So I'm looking at the cards, which I'll show you in a moment. I feel like that's more you. You're direct with what you want in the near past with this person. You're very clear with your intentions and you're very, very straightforward. No messing around. You are coming up as Justice, which can be a Libra card, but it is someone who it's really, at least in this situation, it's so important for things to be fair, for things to be just, for things to be balanced. You have a very clear vision, no nonsense. You might also, some of you might be related to this person. You might be working with them, but it could be a family member as well or a friend. Now, their energy is coming up as the Four of Wands, and in this deck, in this situation, and they're also facing away from you, I feel like they are being really avoidant and feigning being detached, and are putting things off. I feel like they're not getting your message that you're very clear and upfront about. They're not really listening to you. The energy in between you is the Seven of Swords, and this energy is facing towards you. So I feel like the other person is being lying by omission. There is a lot of information they're not telling you. They're not being upfront. For myself personally, and I am a Libra, I find this so frustrating, and you must too. I'm really feeling that frustration with this person because, you're doing all the right things. You're being clear, you're being to the point, you're not beating around the bush, and they're just being avoidant and not dealing with the situation, and they're not communicating very clearly or at all with you, or they might be giving you little bits, but they're not giving you the full picture. They really have their walls up, and I just feel like I get a sense of immaturity as well with this person. The outcome is, I feel like, unresolved. The outcome between you two is the Six of Cups, and this is nostalgia, looking into the past. I feel like both of you, to a certain sense, are kind of grieving what your relationship used to be, because this is the only, with this layer of the spread, this is the only card that has cups, which represents emotion and love and connection, and I feel like both of you are missing that. However, I feel like this person is being kind of avoiding the whole situation, not dealing with it, and I feel like you are almost compensating, maybe even a bit overcompensating, but it's just in reaction to this person, by kind of completely trying to take more of the reins because they're not really doing anything, so you're like, well, I'll deal with this myself, or you're trying to, but that's just not working with this person's energy. This person, I feel like they are being aspected by the Queen of Wands, which is someone, I feel like you guys might be incompatible because he's kind of thinking about a different kind of energy than what you have. And this also could be maybe an issue with their mother, or a mother of their child if they have one from a previous relationship. And I feel like he almost, if it is a he, wants, I'm getting the vibe that most of you are women, and for most of you, you're dealing with a male. But I feel like he kind of wants the male idealized version of the ideal woman. And I feel like you're being aspected by the Knight of Swords, which is also very driven, to the point, sometimes can be a little bit reckless, because you're like, let's just get this done, let's just deal with this, right? And I feel like that's just not the energy, that both your energies are not meshing. For some of you who are in a romantic situation, this isn't really looking like you guys are compatible. If you are a female and you're dealing with a male, I feel like you've almost taken up the role of the male in compensation, because he is becoming just apathetic and almost like a man-child, which is really unattractive for both of you. Let's get some clarification cards. I feel like you want solid, this is the Ace of Pentacles clarifying you want solid commitment, you want a ring, you want to know that this relationship at least has some sort of foundation, or at least you want a promise, you want that commitment, you want that connection. And I absolutely don't blame you. I feel like he's being aspected by the Prince of Swords. I feel like he feels like he wants to be a man, but he's not really being a man, and I think he's struggling with that, which is interesting. See, you guys do have a lot of affection and love for one another, so you are also being aspected by the Lovers. I feel like you are trying to kind of force that situation, potentially, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because if you know what you want, go for it, you know? There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting a relationship and wanting a partnership. I feel like, so he's being aspected by the Sun. I think he wants the whole package and everything. So sometimes people in a relationship don't realize the amount, in this case it's him, he doesn't realize that he actually needs to be a part of it. He needs to make a bit of an effort, and I don't think he's really reflecting on his actions. Let's just do a few more clarification cards, and we'll do advice. I feel like both of you, so this is clarifying the past, and we've got the Magician. I feel like both of you, like in the past, things were really good. But also maybe both of you to a certain degree in the past were not, maybe kind of showed the other person what they wanted to see, and then both of you maybe got a little bit of a, not false, but misguided perception of the other person, and now you guys are beginning to realize, you know, some of the flaws that might cause some personality clashes. I'm gonna do one more. What's this line by omission thing? I think he's, and maybe potentially you as well, because all relationships are mirrors, but I feel like there's a lot of, this is the Eight of Swords, there's a lot of mental kind of blockages. I think both of you are almost mentally shut down when it comes to communication with each other. And the outcome is being clarified by the Seven of Cups in this deck. It is debauched. So I feel like it's almost like the well's been poisoned. And I'm not really, like, nothing's impossible, right? Because both of the outcomes don't have any major arcana cards. I just feel like the way that things are going right now, it's not going to go in the right direction for either of you at this point. Nothing's impossible. Those are minor arcana, but I feel like the momentum is going towards this relationship not really working out the way that you saw. However, I want to get some advice cards. So let's see for you, what is the best advice for you so you can ultimately get you know, the big picture outcome of what you want, which it seems like in this reading is a committed, loving relationship with someone who is compatible with you. So let's get some advice for my wonderful group 1. I think that you need someone who is more emotionally mature so that you don't have to do all of that kind of emotional work and everything. You need someone who maybe is a little bit older, and potentially someone who's already a father or something like that. But I feel like you need someone who has their emotional stuff together. I just feel like this person you're dealing with isn't really there yet. And in this spread, which I know is just 1 month, I just don't see them, at least this month, going in that direction or even really reflecting enough to realize that he needs to grow up emotionally. Second advice card, this is cool. We've got the Knight of Swords. So I feel like you still need to be true to what you want. You know, you can still be, you know, kind and have great communication, without compromising your values. And so this is saying to continue to speak your mind, continue to go for what you want. Ultimately you have to put yourself first, because a relationship isn't going to work if both, for a relationship to work, both people have to be upfront about what they want to make sure that they're actually going to be the right fit. So I would keep going with, you know, I wouldn't compromise with the things that are really important to you, because that's not going to work long term either. The third advice card is the Ace of Pentacles. So you can, maybe the offer that you want this person to make, you can make that offer. You can offer that commitment. You can offer that. For example, it might not necessarily be ideal, but the final advice card we have here is the Knight of Pentacles, and that's being practical. And think about the practicalities of a relationship rather than having the whole shebang straight away. Maybe just think like step by step. What does it look like? If you're not happy in your situation, it's kind of a bit impractical to think, you know, oh, I'm gonna go, this situation isn't good, I need it to be like here tomorrow. Think about what little steps can happen that you're going to be satisfied that you're on the path in the direction of a solid, committed relationship that you want. All right, now we are going to do our Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. So let's get a message from a wonderful group 1s. Oops, I got that one. So we have got Stargazer, set your sights higher. So I'm really feeling like you might actually kind of be in a situation where you are, when it comes to perspective, you're so in just this kind of relationship and this connection that you're only looking in that space. I'm really hoping I'm making sense. With Stargazer, it's saying, you know, set your sights higher. Just why don't you increase your perspective and look at the big picture, not even just about this person, but about what you want. What would truly make you happy in a connection and a relationship, and without even, when you're doing this mind game, without actually considering the other person. So like, what is it that you want? What are your values? What do you bring to a relationship? What do you need in a relationship? And then once you've really hammered out what you really need in the big picture, then you can kind of then take a step back in and look at this relationship and see, you know, does it meet your actual needs in the long run? Like, does it match up? So that's kind of like a 2-step process. All right, so I really hope that was helpful. Hit the timestamp for the collective read at the end, and we are going to move on to group 2. Hello, group 2. What do you need to know for this October 2022? All right, what does group 2 need to know? Ooh, you have a decision to make. Heartbreak in the past or disappointment in the past. Could be with a particular person who is very stubborn. Oh my gosh, all this relationship stuff is coming up for people. Okay, so I'm gonna speak. It could be a situation at work or whatever, but I'm gonna speak as if it is a individual person, and it's most likely that you are female and the other person is male, but it might not be. Okay, so the energy in the past, we've got the Five of Pentacles. So this is disappointment, feeling like all hope is gone, and maybe even a little bit of poverty. So it could be something like the loss of a job, or not getting hired, or not having a relationship that you want, or not getting a contract or home or something like that, right? At the end of the day, this isn't, of the not so good cards, this isn't the worst. It's a minor arcana in the moment, and it's a 5, which means it's very transitory. It never lasts as long as what you think it will last. And when you're in it, it feels so horrible and it's so terrible. However, you move out of that space a lot faster than you realize when you're in it. Okay. You are coming up as the 2 of Pentacles. It's like you've got a choice, 50-50. Do I do this or do that? And it's a really tricky one. It's not an obvious one. This choice likely has to do with this King of Swords character who in this spread is facing towards you. And the King of Swords, look, they're a great soldier, they're a great lawyer, things like that, but they're very up in their head. They're not necessarily kind of in how they feel all of the time. And this guy is surrounded by more swords. So I feel like there's like a disconnect to a certain degree from their head and their heart. And when they speak from their head, not necessarily from their heart. And that can sometimes cause an issue in certain relationships. The energy in between you two is the 8 of Swords. I feel like right now you are being a bit stubborn, probably for good reason. With that, I feel like you've had both of you have had disappointment in the past, and I feel like you've really felt it because this reading's for you. Okay, so you're a bit shut down. You're being a bit closed-minded, and almost you might even be ignoring this person or not really responding. Even if you are communicating with them, you're not really budging. You're not really like letting them know how you feel. I think you're really upset, and probably for good reason. I think that they are kind of just playing the waiting game, waiting for you to budge, but like inside what you're not showing is your very real frustration. The outcome is the 3 of Cups. I feel like you are going to end up just hanging out with your friends more and people that you can really be relaxed with and that you love and love you, and you can just hang out and have a really good time. This is a friendship card to me most of the time. I feel like they're not really going to change their ways. They're being aspected by the 7 of Swords. They're lying by omission. They're holding back information. This might be a bit of a manipulative person to a certain degree. They might be aware of it or not, maybe partly aware, but it's not a good energy for you. So I feel like you're making the right choice by hanging out with your friends. The one kind of benefit about that is that even though at this moment right now, you're kind of stuck. Should I be with this person? Not. Should I listen to this person or not? Should I take this job or not? Whatever the choice is that you've got to make, you end up being very decisive. So this situation or person really pushes you to just be like, you know what? This is what I want. I'm doing this. I don't care what you think. I'm just going to do what I want to do, right? And in this context, I feel like that's a really good choice. Sometimes you have to have that kind of energy around certain people that aren't really respecting you and your perspective and your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Okay, let's get some clarification cards. I feel like you want it all, and you should absolutely have everything that you want, right? We've got the 10 of Pentacles, so that represents like stability and foundation. That could be with work, that could be with stability in your home life and your relationships. That's ultimately what you want, and I feel like you're wondering, can this person actually offer me that? They seem to be all talk, right? And they seem in the past to have only given you about half of what you want. It's just really, they've really just come up short, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why you've still been disappointed. But I think one of the reasons why you're kind of indecisive right now is like, but can I still have that with that person? There is always that grain of hope in many situations. Their energy is coming up as the Knight of Cups. I feel like almost in the group 1 reading before, actually, some similarities, right? I feel like they're emotionally immature, and also they might have a bit of a wandering eye, even though they want to lock you down potentially, or just call all the shots, my way or the highway. I feel like they might just be like, oh, well, what about that person? What about that person? And unfortunately, with our society today, with the endless matches you can get on dating apps, it's like a buffet of options, and I feel like they are still maybe wanting to play the field a bit, but also might want to kind of lock you down to be like, okay, I have this person here, now I can kind of do what I want, maybe not really mention it to you or try not to let you know about that. I feel like even if you're like, what? I never thought this person would be like that, I feel like that's intuitively why you're shutting down to a certain degree. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me, and I don't edit my videos. Okay, so I'm pulling a few more clarification cards. I feel like there's just too much arguing. He causes too much stress, not just in your life, but just with other people in your life, because when you get stressed, when you're communicating with him, you get really like on the offense, defensive, offensive, and then I think you bring that energy to other people in your life, and it's really just not a good. Have you noticed that you're, have more of like a stressed energy, or with people that you normally don't? Do you notice that you get kind of a bit more argumentative after you've had an argument with this person? It's not necessarily the best energy, it seems. But do remember that the outcome card is you just like relaxing and chilling with your friends and loved ones, okay? I feel like there might be some information about his home life that he's not said. It either where he's from, or maybe some family members you don't really know about, but it could be he's holding back about something to do regarding his home, and that may have affected his boundaries growing up. Okay, let's get... I feel like you may have kind of jumped into this without thinking too much. Maybe you entered into a connection with this person or relationship like really fast, and not necessarily fast, but like it might like more impulsively. Just kind of having that trust, and that trust is a beautiful thing, but you just need to remember it has to be with people that actually deserve it. Not everyone deserves your trust or your love, right? All right, so yeah, there's so much. I feel like if one of you might be arguing, the other one shut down, but there's still that pent up energy that can be very fiery, and I feel like it's more on his side that he can just say and do things without considering you at all, or how it might make you feel. He might be like that with other people in his life too, to a certain degree. And it's just a clash, because you want that stability, you want a solid connection, you want a solid, stable home and family life. Let's look at this outcome. Make sure that you do not overindulge when you're hanging out with your friends. You don't want to, if there are any old habits that you have, you don't want to go back to that. And I also don't want you to feel like you are a failure, because I feel like, or that this relationship has failed, so therefore it's a reflection on you. It's a learning experience, and it's you getting into a position where like you understand your values a lot more and what you need in a person, which is going to help you discern a better person for you in the future. I'm not saying things aren't going to work out with this person. I just don't see anything working out anytime soon, and I don't really see any negative patterns changing with this other person anytime soon. The only thing I see kind of soon is that their, argumentativeness, kind of being closed-minded, might rub off onto you a little bit and cause a bit of a negative aspect with other relationships that you have. All right, let's get some advice about the situation so we can make the best case scenario. All right, group 2, advice, please. about this whole situation. Not necessarily seeing advice to stay with this person, okay? The first advice card is the Five of Wands. If there's conflict in your life, if you are continuing to engage in it, then it's just going to continue to happen, and it will evolve. It will expand in other aspects of your life. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it actually worth it spending all my energy with all these arguments? I feel like there's a lot of different ideas and values that are clashing, and when it comes to value systems, that doesn't really change anytime soon with people. So you got to think about it. Sometimes it's good to just walk away. I'm not even saying just like walk away from the whole relationship necessarily, right? You have to do what's right for you. But even if it's like in the moment, like, and you start an argument, just be like, do I really need to be here right now? And just, you know, you're allowed to have your own space. Okay. Second advice card. This is one of my favorite advice cards. We've got the Three of Cups again, and that's your outcome. So I feel like that's what you're going to do. Hang out with your friends, hang out with the people that you love and are close to you and know you, and just relax and have a good time and enjoy life. The little pleasures in life can really make you feel nourished. All right, third advice card. We've got the Strength card. Usually when this comes up as advice in a not ideal relationship, it means you've got the strength to walk away. You are strong. You are strong enough. You can do this. So whether you want to or not, that's on you. But never think that you can't. You 100% can. And if you feel like this is the right decision to walk away from this connection, you 100% will do it. This is a major arcana card. And you're being backed by, you know, your spirit guides and ancestors and everyone that loves you and cares about you, whether they're on this plane or another. You 100% have this, okay? Fourth advice card. You might have to get out of the situation, you might have to be a little bit manipulative yourself just to make a good exit. You might, but also know that you can have everything. I feel like in this connection, have you sacrificed a lot? Have you made so many compromises that you don't even know what you want anymore and what your values are? Just remember, you can have it all. And if you're not getting it with this person and they're not cherishing you the way that you deserve it, like, you know, what message is that sending to yourself, right? You can have everything. You can create the life and the relationship that you want 100%. All right, now let's get a Angels and Ancestors Oracle message. All right, we have got Eagles, see from a higher perspective. So you're kind of really stuck in this situation. And sometimes when there's like little arguments and this and that about when you're arguing about one little thing, maybe let's say, for example, cleaning, you can just get like micro focused into that, but you need to really rise above and look at this whole picture. Is it what you want? Is this what you envision for yourself? Is this the life that you want? Is this the connection and the relationship that you want? You really need to look at things from the big picture, take a step back. And sometimes a good way of doing that is if you had a really good friend that was in the exact same situation as you, what advice would you give them? Sometimes that can help you step back and get a more objective perspective. All right, group 2, I really hope you found that helpful. Click on the timestamp to go to the collective read, and let's go on to group number 3. Hello, group number 3. Let's see, what do you need to know for October 2022? What does group number 3 need to know for October 2022? Damn it. All right, this is an interesting situation. I kind of have a feeling it's not to do with romance. It might for some of you, but I feel like with a lot of you, it could be like a project or a goal. I feel like for a lot of you, this has more, it's like it's something to do with a project or a goal, maybe some sort of work venture, trying something new, but it might represent more than that. It could be like you wanting to start a new phase of your life, and things are a little bit up and down, but we're going to make sure that we get to the bottom of it so that we can get you the best case scenario, so that you can be successful. Okay. So I feel like the energy in the past, we've got the Three of Cups. So the energy in the past, you've had a really big focus on your social connections, friends, family, enjoying life. Super important. Okay. Your energy right now is actually great. So you might be looking at me and be like, what are you talking about? Ups and downs. Because right now you're coming up as the sun. And so that's really a really, really positive aspect of your situation for October. So, you know, loving life, there might be an amazing connection that you're really feeling as well, but you're enjoying all of the beauty and wonderful, joyous things about life right now. And you just have this amazing positive energy, which is so great. And it's not like a fake positive, it's a real positive. However, I feel like there's something that you've been disappointed in. It might be something to do with some sort of endeavor, goal, project, career move, education, whatever it is. You've been trying to level up, and I feel like because there's been a bump in the road, this is the energy around your goal. We got the Five of Pentacles, pardon me. I feel like because there's been a bump in the road, you literally think that it's the end, or it is the be all end all in that situation. What you don't realize is it's not the end. It's literally just a bump in the road, and you might not believe me. You might think, no, there's no hope in this situation at all. But the outcome is the Eight of Swords. So remember, this is just October. It's not the rest of your life, okay, or even the rest of the year. I think you become a little bit shut down. I think that you get a vision, right, that comes from a good place, a good creative place. But then if one little thing doesn't go your way, or there's one little challenge or bump in the road and it doesn't seem like a little challenge to you, you completely shut down. You're like, no, this is not going to work. I need to do it my way. And you really just kind of have this huge mental block, right? Now, the good thing about that is it's a mental block, and it is something that can change. But, and we'll get advice in the latter half of this particular reading to make sure that we can get the change that's ideal for you, right? So I feel like it's a mindset that needs to change. It's not the whole external reality of what you're dealing with right now. You think it is, but it's actually your mindset, which when people are told that, they don't like to hear it, okay? But I'm just saying what I see, all right? I feel like you might need to get a little bit of, your goal is being aspected by the High Priest. I feel like you might need a little bit more training, mentorship. You might want to go back to, if you're trying to something new, use a timeless and true method, something that has always worked. And I feel like, you need to maybe, get a little bit more training, but you can get there. And if it's something like being your own boss, I think you just need, you just have a little bit more to learn. No one knows everything, okay? But people who think that they know everything, or they think they have all the information that they need are gonna shut down, which is what I kind of see you doing mentally, and be like, no, there's nothing else I can do. That's actually not true. There's a lot that you can do, okay? But you first need to mentally realize that. You are being aspected by the King of Pentacles. So I feel like you've got a great connection in your life. And you do have, if this is to do with romance, you've got a great partner in your life, but they just might not realize the stress that you're going through. It may be something that they could just almost, you might not be sharing this information with them, okay? If it is something to do with a current boss that you have, that's a good boss. I feel like they're not really realizing that this is happening with you either. Let's get some clarification cards. I'm gonna just pull all the clarification cards out, and then we're gonna go from there. There's a lot of wands in this reading, so I feel like this is some sort of like inspired creative endeavor that you have. So the energy in the past is being clarified or aspected by the Ace of Wands. So I feel like this creative idea that you came up with in the past actually came up quite naturally. Now think about that. It came up naturally when you were relaxed and at ease, right? That's when these creative ideas just flow. And I feel like you can still accomplish this goal, right? But you need to realize that so I see this a lot with people where, when they're in the flow and relaxed, they come up with a great idea, but then they build too much structure that's immovable around it mentally. And I think that's what you're doing. You feel like this goal is already burnt out, and that's not the case. It's just this direction that were originally wanting to go in is maybe a bit of a dead end, but there are different options. There are at least two different solid options of this original direction you can go in. I think that you feel like you messed up by making a foolish mistake, or this whole thing was a foolish mistake, and that you were naive. That's not the case at all. Everyone makes mistakes, and I think you need to be a little bit more forgiving to yourself. I feel like, it's just, again, we've got the Queen of the Swords. So the Queen of Swords, it can be, you've got the great idea, you've got the great energy. However, it's just, I think sometimes you can go from that spiritual energy kind of up into your head. And I feel like you can also be a bit ruthless with yourself as well. It's like you're your own worst critic, okay? So this is what's coming up in the reading. So it's the mental blocks. It's actually more like in your head, you almost create it in a way. But the situation is different, okay? So I feel like it would be a good idea to brainstorm. When I said, a different boss or a different partner, I think it would be a great idea to bring them into the situation and to brainstorm, because you can really expand creativity when you involve another person. You may not believe me, but you are going to be successful and victorious with this. You just might not get to the end point exactly when you want to, and it's always going to be a work in progress. All right, let's get some advice cards for this whole situation for group 3. Let's see. Okay, so there will be another I'm not going to say roadblock. I'm just going to say one more challenge. You just need to prepare yourself. You can't expect everything to go seamlessly, perfectly. That's, unfortunately, life often doesn't work that way. Not all the time, at least definitely not in this case. So all you have to do is get all your ducks in a row, prepare yourself, and there will be one more challenge with this project that you're working on, but you can 100% succeed with it, okay? The second advice card is the King of Wands. Stick with your creativity. That's what you're really good at. I think that sometimes you might lack confidence and then you go with your head, and that's good for a lot of people, but I think with that blocks you. You really need to go with what feels right, and you're way better at that than what you realize. Third advice card, we've got the 8 of Cups. You need to make sure that this is also emotionally fulfilling and sustaining for you in the long run. You need to love what you're doing, okay? Fourth advice card, we have got the 6 of Pentacles. If you're worried about will this be a financial success or not, it will be enough, okay? Some of the income might ebb and it might flow, but you will always have enough, okay? And of course that can change in the future. We're just talking about October right now. Let's get a Angels and Ancestor Oracle card for you as well. And definitely comment below, what is this project or goal that you're working on? I would love to hear. All right, so we have got, Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. And what was that little bit of advice I gave you previously? Sharing information with people and getting new ideas. You can still do this on your own, but I really think it would be a good idea to exchange information as well, and work with whoever was coming up as the King of Pentacles, whether it's a boss or a former boss or a partner or a really good friend. Just brainstorm. You don't have to deal with this all on your own. Let them in so that they can help you with the situation. All right, I hope you found that helpful. I'm about to do the collective read, so stick around. Hello everyone. So the collective read, what do you, that's you watching right now, need to know for October 2022? Let's see what is in store for you. Gotta watch out. Be careful with the big decision. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh, this is intense. Not gonna lie, it's intense. Okay, so you have had a revelation. The energy we have in the past is rejuvenation. Everything, if anything was hidden in the past about a certain situation, I'm going to speak as if it's a person, but it could be a situation, right? Everything's come out of the box. Pandora's box. Maybe a bit of chaos. There's a lot of information maybe you wanted to know or didn't want to know, but the lid has been blown off. You are completely aware of a situation, potentially with another person, but it could be with a choice you have to make. You are coming up as the Nine of Wands. You're feeling a little bit on edge. For fair reason, you're not sure who to trust anymore because you're like, whoa, if I didn't know this about this person or situation, like, what do I not know about other people? You might be in a little bit of a predicament. You are going to get out of it. That is for sure, because your intuition is switched on right now, okay? And you will get through this 100%. It has to do with a particular decision, but it could also be indecision. Maybe a decision came up that you, with another person, they made a decision and you feel betrayed by it because the energy in between you and this other person is the Three of Swords. That's betrayal. That's being stabbed in the back. If it's with a relationship, it could be cheating, but it might not have been physical. It could have been something like texting or something like that. If it's a friend, you thought you could trust them and you don't feel you can trust them anymore. And if it's like a job or situation, yeah, it's just you feel like you've been stabbed in the back, all right? And you kind of maybe have at least been misled. The outcome, this is pretty intense because that rejuvenation card in the past was like, this is a major arcana card. It was a big wake-up call, okay? It's something that you cannot ignore even if you try. The outcome, also major arcana. So this is happening at least to a certain degree, right? We've got the Hermit card. You're just going to isolate for a little bit and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's an actually, when you feel like, oh my gosh, there's this big confusing situation, I feel betrayed, I don't really know what to do, it's actually a really good idea to just kind of, for some of us in some situations, to just kind of spend time with ourselves and reconnect with our values, our beliefs, all of this ancestral knowledge and past life knowledge that we all do have in our DNA and in our energies, and just reconnect with you, your energy, rather than being influenced by outward people. You are also being aspected by the Two of Wands. You're still going to be a little bit confused, but you'll be a lot more clear-headed about, okay, I'm going to do this or this. So you're kind of narrowing down your choices, and yeah, there might be like one kind of close friend that you talk to, or a few kind of people that if you do talk to other people for advice in this kind of solitary time, it's going to be people that probably don't really have a connection with the person who betrayed you. This other person or situation is coming up as the Queen of Pentacles, which means this may have been a female that has done this. It could have been an authority figure like a boss. All right, let's get some clarification cards. So, okay, interesting. All right, I'm getting a lot of information right now. So this revelation in the past, I feel like maybe the other person or situation, maybe you to a degree as well, were being kind of manipulative or cloaked and hidden, and just, you know, watch this hand so you don't see what the other hand's doing, however that saying goes. Please comment it below. Anyways, yeah, so that's been blown off the lid. Any kind of show to be like, oh, this is how things really are, it's, the veneer is completely gone. I feel like that this other person or situation felt like they could have made this work, but clearly it's just not happening, and it's just it's created an imbalance in the situation for you. Believe it or not, you actually almost wished for this in a way, and I'm not saying the bad stuff. Sometimes, to get to where we really need to be in the long run, sometimes that shortcut can be muddy and messy and not fun. But what you're doing is you're actually going towards what your heart really wants, and it's away from the situation. So that's why you, in a way, kind of, even if it was subconscious, wished for this, because you wanted this. Ultimately, this isn't working for you, and it's not good enough for you. You are kind of at your wit's end, and this other person is also at their wit's end. And I think, just to a degree, this other person is just done. I feel like they might get stressed really easily, and they're just done. It's going to be a bit difficult, kind of being with your mind on your own and all of these thoughts, but you will work it out. You will reconnect with yourself and your value system. You might want to get advice from someone who you know is really intuitive. This could be a female, for example, and actually is the type of person that's really, really upfront, doesn't beat around the bush, and just says it like it is. You may agree with them, you may not, but at least you know that they're telling the truth. And also, you might be tapping into that side of yourself and just going for what you really feel is right for you at a spiritual level. Yeah, this other person or situation, I think they might, I think they're doing what they believe is in their best interest. And so at the end of the day, you kind of have to start doing what you believe is in your best interest. All right, advice. Oh, let me actually cut the deck. Let's get some advice for the collective. I did pick up that first card, which was the Four of Wands, which can sometimes, as an advice card, mean, just to hunker down in your home and maybe just chill at home and make sure it's cozy for you. Maybe go on, if you live in a different place from where you're born, you might want to go there for a little holiday, reconnect with your family, or whoever feels like family to you. All right, let's get some advice. All right, everything's gonna be okay, promise. First advice card, Two of Wands. You need to start thinking up a new path. You don't have to take a step down that path, but coming up with new ideas. And you are being aspected by the Two of Wands as well. So you don't have to make a decision now, but start thinking, like, where do you want to go, kind of in the, short to medium term at least, right? Second advice card is the Three of Swords. You were betrayed. It really sucks. And it might hurt more to you, because if you've had a similar kind of betrayal in the past, this might be a bit of a repeating pattern. So it's really important to make sure that you move through and process all of these emotions and really reflect on it, to hopefully avoid getting yourself in the situation again. Third advice card, we have got the Six of Wands. Ultimately, you're victorious. You will come out on top. It's not the situation you wanted, but you're going to turn it into a situation that is a good situation for you, okay? Fourth advice card, we have got the Seven of Pentacles. You might want to put down your roots, start thinking about, how can I invest in my future, whether it's with work or relationships or any type of projects that you might be doing, any goals that you have, and think about, like, what do I need to do to sort the foundation now to make sure that you have a bright and beautiful future for this situation. All right, let's get a Angels and Ancestors Oracle card for you. Mirror Guardian, time to reflect, and that absolutely ties in with the Hermit card, which is your outcome in this situation. A little bit of solitude, but a great time to reflect and connect with yourself and really think about not just how you feel, but like, how did you get into this situation? Were there any red flags that you were missing? Have you been in a situation like this before? And really see if there's some sort of a pattern. It might go all the way back to your childhood. That's often how we get into these situations, is it's recurring patterns where we still need to learn a particular lesson from the past. So definitely take care of yourself, but also reflect. I hope you found this helpful, and please do comment below. What number did you pick? Did it resonate with you? And you know, any likes and shares, I really appreciate it. I'm a small channel. I'm trying to do this just part-time, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. If you want a private reading, all my details are in the information below, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed month. Bye, see you later.